Hello guys, welcome to yet another wonderful session of Learning with Prep Class. My name is Tutor Olalekan Israel, your Prep Class tutor, and I am so excited to be on your screens once again. It's a beautiful day, but your day is just about to get better. Now in today's video, we will be answering questions from the WAEC English 2019 past questions. Yes, WAEC English 2019 past questions. The purpose for these videos is to guide you on how to answer similar questions like these ones in WAEC examination. So, let's get ready to answer some past questions. Now, in this video, we will be answering just questions 1 to 5. But before we begin to answer the questions, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can have free access to numerous educational materials like these ones. So, without wasting much time, let's get into the business of the day. Question 1 from Section A of WAEC English 2019 past questions. The instruction reads, in each of the following sentences, there is one underlined word and one gap. One was written twice there, that's a typo, so it's just supposed to be one. So in each of the following sentences, there is one underlined word and one gap. From the list of words lettered A to D, choose the one that is most nearly opposite in meaning to the underlined word and that will at the same time correctly fill the gap in the sentence. So now we are expected to select the option that is most nearly opposite in meaning to the underlined word and will at the same time fill in the blank space correctly. Now question 1 reads, though my mother was convinced about the success of the business, a manager remained dash. Now, the underlined word in this sentence is convinced. So we have to select the option that most nearly means the opposite of convinced and will at the same time fill in the blank space in the sentence. The options we have are skeptical, serious, confused, and concerned. So which of these options most nearly means the opposite of convinced? Now first I would like us to explain what convinced means. Now the word convinced means to be completely certain about something. The word convinced means to be completely certain about something without any iota of doubt. My mom was very certain about the success of the business. There is no iota of doubt about the business. He's completely certain. Like, I am very convinced. I am completely convinced that after watching this our series of WAEC past questions, you are going to nail your WAEC examinations. Yes, I have no doubts about that. So let's go back to the question. Convinced means to be completely certain about something without any iota of doubt. Though my mother was convinced, was completely certain about the success of the business, her mother remained dash. Now, the next thing to do is to define the other options one after the other to identify the word with an opposite meaning to convinced. So let us pick the options one after the other. Now the first option is skeptical. Skeptical means to be unsure about something, to be doubtful, to have doubts. You are unsure, you are not very sure, you are unsure, you have doubts. Now, serious means to be important. When you say something is serious, it's important. This is a serious meeting. It's an important meeting. It also means to be significant, to be sincere. I'm serious now, I'm sincere, I'm serious with you, no lies, no joke. Genuine, it also means to be genuine. Confused means the inability to think clearly. I'm confused, like, why is it this way? Inability to think clearly, to be unclear. Now, concerned means to be worried. I'm concerned. Concerned means to be worried, to be disturbed, to be troubled, to be bothered. Now, these options, amongst these options, one of them most nearly means the opposite of convinced. Let's go back to the meaning of convinced. Now, the word convinced means to be completely certain about something without any iota of doubt. So which option has the nearest meaning to the opposite of convinced? That option is skeptical. Convinced means to be completely sure, to be completely certain. Skeptical means to be unsure, to have doubts. Convinced means what? To have no doubts. So Though my mother was convinced about the success of the business, our manager remained skeptical. Though my mother was very convinced, was certain about the success of the business, our manager remained skeptical. Our manager had doubts. So, skeptical is the answer to this question. Moving on to the next question, question number 2. Question number 2 reads, remember, we have to select the word that most nearly means the opposite of the underlined word and will at the same time occupy the blank space in the sentence. So, question 2 reads, judgment should always be in favor of the innocent and not the dash. Judgment should always be in favor of the innocent and not the dash. Now, the underlined word here is innocent. So, which of these options is going to most nearly mean the opposite of innocent? The options we have are guilty, accused, weak, elderly. Now, the first thing to do is to define the word innocent. What does the word innocent mean? Now, let's look at the meaning of the word innocent. Now, the word innocent means to be free of guilt, to be blameless, to be clear, to be free of guilt, to be blameless. You don't have any blame, to be clear. Now, the next thing to do is to define the options one after the other to identify the option with an opposite meaning to the meaning of confused. Let's look at the options we have again. Now, the options, the first one is guilty. Guilty means to be culpable, to be blameworthy. That is, you can actually take the blame. You should be able to take the blame, to be in the wrong, to be at fault. Now, accused means to be charged with an offense. Remember, if you are accused, doesn't mean you are guilty or innocent. You are just accused. You need to be tried. So, accused means to be charged with an offense or crime. Weak means to be lacking power or energy, to be fragile. Elderly means to be mature, to be old, to be aged, to be a senior. So judgment should always be in favor of the innocent. Innocent means what? To be free of guilt. So which of the options most nearly means the opposite of innocent? That option is guilty. Guilty means to be culpable, to be blameworthy. Remember, innocent means what? To be without blame. But guilty means to be blameworthy, to be in the wrong, to be at fault. So, judgment should always be in favor of the innocent and not the guilty. I agree with that. Judgment should always be in favor of the innocent. If you are innocent, the judgment should always be in your favor and not in the favor of those that are guilty, those that are in the wrong, those that are blameworthy. So, judgment should always be in favor of the innocent and not the guilty. Moving on to the next question, question number 3. Question 3 reads, Lai is quite reliable, but his sister is dash. Remember, we have to select the option with the most nearly opposite meaning to the underlined word. The underlined word here is reliable. So which of these options most nearly means the opposite of reliable? Lai is quite reliable, but his sister is dash. The options we have are unswerving, untrustworthy, deceptive, and pretentious. Now, how do we know which option is most nearly opposite to the meaning of reliable? We actually have to know what reliable means. So, what is reliable? Now, the word reliable means to be dependable. When you can depend on somebody, when you can depend on something, it means that thing or that person is reliable, to be trusted. Lai is quite dependable. Lai can be trusted. Now, reliable also means to be consistently good. Like you did something today and you did it very well. When you are called to do it tomorrow, you still do it very well. You are consistently good. There is consistency. You are reliable. So what option most nearly means the opposite of reliable? Now the next thing to do is to define the options one after the other to identify the option with an opposite meaning to the meaning of reliable. So let's take a look at the options. Now the first option is unswerving. Unswerving means to be constant, not changing. You have a constant position. Maybe they want to do something in your house. You already made your position known. They now came after probably some months to see if you have changed your opinion. No, you remain constant. You are unswerving. You are not changing. You have a constant position, a constant belief. Untrustworthy means not being able to be relied on. Oh, I think that should be our answer, because reliable means you are dependable, you can be relied on. So untrustworthy means not being able to be relied on, not trustworthy. Not trustworthy. Let's take a look at the meaning of reliable again. Reliable means to what? To be trusted. So untrustworthy should be our answer. But let's take a look at the other options again. Next option is deceptive. Deceptive means to be misleading, to be deceiving. And this is not the opposite of reliable. Pretentious means trying to appear or sound more important or clever than you are. Now, deceptive and pretentious are synonymous. They are not in any way the opposite of reliable. Reliable means to be dependable, to be trustworthy, to be consistently good. I'm giving you an assignment to carry out, and I am rest assured that you carry out. I trust you to carry out the assignment. You are reliable, you are dependable. But when you are not reliable, you are untrustworthy. I can't trust you to carry out the assignment I have given you. I can't rely on you. So, Lai is quite reliable, but his sister is untrustworthy. I think Lai's sister has some homework to do. So let's move on to the next question. The answer to this question is untrustworthy. Lai is quite reliable, but his sister is untrustworthy. Moving on to the next question, question number 4. Question number 4 reads, the gullible and not the dash usually fall prey to tricksters. Remember, we had to select the option that most nearly means the opposite of the underlined word. Now, this sentence reads, the gullible and not the dash usually fall prey to tricksters. The underlined word here is gullible. Now, the options we have are unfriendly, carefree, brave, and discerning. So, which of these options most nearly means the opposite of gullible? What is the meaning of gullible? If we do not know the meaning of gullible, it is going to be very difficult for us to know the option, the word that means the opposite of gullible. So let's take a look at the meaning of gullible. Now, the word gullible means to be easily persuaded to believe something. To be easily persuaded to believe something. Like they can just people can just actually walk up to you, bring anything to you, and you just believe it without thinking. To be unsuspecting, to be foolish, to be silly. Like, how do people bring things to you and you don't even take time to what? Observe, to investigate. You are easily persuaded to believe something. It's like telling somebody 5 plus 3 is 9 and he just believes it. That's foolish, that's silly. You just believe anything. Easily persuaded to believe something. Now, if you are easily persuaded to believe something, you should actually fall prey to tricksters. Because they will tell you whatever thing you want to believe, and you can't even investigate, you can't think on it. You're just easily persuaded. So the next thing to do now is to define the options, one after the other, to identify the word that means the opposite of gullible. Let's look at the options. What do they mean? Now, unfriendly means to be hostile, not friendly. Now, remember, gullible means what? To be easily persuaded. So, unfriendly does not mean the opposite of gullible. Now, carefree means to have no worries. You are unconcerned. Now, when you are carefree, you don't care. You have no care. If what they are bringing to you is good or bad, you do not care. But when you are gullible, you actually just believe. It's not that you do not care. You don't have time to reason. You just believe whatever is brought to you. You don't investigate. You are easily persuaded. Even when you investigate, they will still what? Persuade you to believe what is brought to you. So, gullible just basically means being foolish or silly. Now, brave means to be courageous, to be fearless. Now, this is not the opposite of gullible. Now, discerning means to be able to recognize small details. Discerning means to be able to recognize small details. Ability to make intelligent judgments by observation. If something is brought to you, you can actually make intelligent judgments by observation. You observe and you make intelligent judgment. Even if they are telling you the wrong thing, you can actually observe and make the right judgments, intelligent judgment. But when you are gullible, you are easily persuaded to believe anything. You are unsuspecting. But when you can discern, it means you are able to recognize small details. Even when they bring anything before you, you look at it and the little details that looks like nothing, you can actually recognize it and make intelligent judgments because you have observed. So gullible and not the discerning usually fall prey to tricksters. If you can actually discern, if tricksters bring tricks before you and want to swindle you, you can actually make intelligent decisions. You can recognize small details that they want to use to swindle you. But when you are gullible, you are easily persuaded. You are easily convinced to believe something. So the answer to this question is discerning. So the sentence would be, the gullible and not the discerning usually fall prey to tricksters. If you are gullible, you easily believe anything. But if you are discerning, you want to take your time to identify the right from the wrong, to differentiate the good from the bad. So it will be very, very difficult for you to fall prey to tricksters. Moving on to the next question, question number 5. Question number 5 reads, Tom's humility contrasts with his brother's dash. Remember, we have to select the option that most nearly means the opposite of the underlined word. Now, the underlined word here is humility. The options we have are haughtiness, stubbornness, gentleness, quietness. So which of these options most nearly means the opposite of humility? Let's define the word humility. Now, the word humility means to be modest, meekness. Like you are not proud, you are low, you don't carry yourself, you don't carry your shoulders, you are modest, you are meek. So that is the meaning of humility. Now, the next thing is to define the options one after the other to identify the option that means the opposite of humility. If you're not modest, if you're not meek, what are you? Let's take a look at the options and what they mean. Now, the first option is haughtiness. Haughtiness means to be arrogant and full of pride. You are arrogant, you're full of pride. Probably you're very rich, but then you carry your shoulders up, you look down on people. You are haughty, you are arrogant, you are full of pride. Now, stubbornness means to be dogged, difficult to change position and view. Now, this is not the opposite of humility. Because humility does not mean to be flexible. Now, gentleness is the quality of being calm, kind or soft. The quality of not being violent, severe or strong. You don't like troubles. You are gentle doesn't mean you are humble. Some people could actually be gentle, but they are very proud. So, gentleness means being calm, kind or soft. The quality of not being violent. Now, quietness is the quality or state of being quiet. Freedom from noise, someone that doesn't speak much. Quietness, the state of being quiet. Now, humility means being modest, being meek. You are not proud. Now, haughtiness, which is the answer, means to be arrogant and full of pride. If humility means you are meek, that means you take yourself low. You don't raise yourself. But haughtiness means to be arrogant and full of pride. So you raise yourself above even what you are. So, haughtiness is the answer to this question. Tom's humility contrasts with his brother's haughtiness. That means Tom's brother is proud. Tom is humble while his brother is proud. And with that, we have come to the end of this wonderful session. Thank you for being with us. Do not forget to like and comment. Drop your questions in the comment section. Also, subscribe to our channel. Please and please and please. Do not forget to share this content with your friends and loved ones. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.